This is the Ruckus and The Menace Sports Podcast.
Oh no! We suck again!
I'm getting confused. What game are you calling?
I'm calling both games.
It is caught by Kelsey! Touchdown! Kansas City!
Anthony for three. Bang!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ruckus and The Menace Sports Podcast. I am Ruckus.
And I'm Ruckus the Menace.
And this is episode 55.
The episode that we clearly cannot drive.
55!
Oh, wow, the high pitch
You're welcome.
did not register.
That's
I'm
okay.
pretty sure it'll register in the recording.
It did, and it was glorious. Alright, let's get right into it. So, Spennis, how have you been?
Oh, well, I will say that I've had a good amount of things on the honey-do list that I've kind of covered along. I am 2/3 of the way through patio furniture building.
Ooh.
I have built the chairs and I've built the fire pit. The only thing we haven't done with the fire pit is assemble the propane tank because we do not have it.
Propane and propane accessories.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I figured you were doing a King of the Hill reference.
I got triggered there.
But the only thing we have left is like the love seat that came with our patio furniture. So that's the only thing I have left to build. Fortunately, it's been mostly with things involving Allen wrenches, so not extremely difficult. But other than that, I've squeezed in some time with MLB The Show and Jedi Survivor playing when chances come. And I'm not trying to make commander decks for Magic the Gathering. But as far as like movies I've watched, I actually watched the Apple TV Plus Tetris movie.
Huh.
Pretty much about the story of how Nintendo eventually got Tetris from communist Russia.
On the motherland.
Yeah, but the biggest difference is that this was highly overly dramatized with stuff that didn't happen, but a lot of things...
Well, of course. It's a movie.
I mean, it was also based on a true story. It was based on true events, but it was definitely like one of those type of movies. And Taron Egerton did a great job, and I will probably next week on pod, as far as a movie to talk about, I will then be talking about Air, which is the Phil Knight, the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon movie about how they courted Michael Jordan.
Is that on Netflix? I thought I just saw an ad for that.
It may be now, but either that or it was in theaters starting last month in April.
Oh, okay. I was thinking because for some reason I saw an ad for it and I thought maybe it was like one of those Netflix exclusive movies like you would see from time to time.
Nope. If it was a Netflix exclusive movie, I would have seen this over a month ago.
Oh, okay.
It came out to theaters.
Speaking of streaming service exclusive movies, actually, are you done talking or?
Oh yeah. Oh, you can kind of go. As far as streaming service exclusive movies, we were on the same topic. Go.
Okay. So as I interrupted, the new White Man Can't Jump reboot came out with Jack Harlow, and I think it was pretty good, but they dramatized a little bit too much compared to the original.
There's a difference between a reboot and a remake. This was a remake.
Yeah, and to be honest, the first one was probably more backwards in the story than the newest one. The newest one pretty much they take it literally and make the story about how the character has two blown ACLs, and if he freaking dunks the ball or takes a layup and like lands awkwardly on his leg, then it crushes. It kind of reminds me of the episode of South Park when Kyle decides he wants to be a basketball player, but he's rejected because he's not tall, and also some other stuff. But then he later like crushes his legs in that episode because they replace some stuff with some stuff. But like this film, I feel like they took it way too literally compared to the original, because in the original it was literally like the dude that was played like Jack Harlow was Woody Harrelson in the original,
Yep.
and Wesley Snipes was the main guy, and pretty much the whole movie is them being like, oh, we're gonna bet money on these games and like see who wins, and then it's just like him just losing pretty much the whole movie. And in the reboot, it's more so like, okay, well, there's more structure to it. It felt like a Like Mike movie, rather like. Have you ever seen Like Mike 2 Street Ball?
I I more so was well affinitized with the first one.
Well, Like Mike 2 Street Ball is literally just like tournament-based street ball is literally all it is. It's probably like a low-budget, crappy movie, like one of those like movies that go straight to DVD, but I watched it and I liked it as a kid and would watch it every once in a while during the summer, but um point being, it was better structured, and the plot of the movie was a lot better. The story, in my opinion, was better in this new one. And Jack Harlow, being known as like a big rapper guy that has like the nice styles and whatever, and the Tyler Hero song, like I think he was pretty good. But also is on streaming. By the way, this White Man Can't Jump movie is on Hulu, and the original is on Hulu. And then Letterkenny is back with a new season that is also on Hulu. Um, as far as games go for me, I've been playing a little bit of MLB The Show whenever the new weekly stuff comes out, and trying to get through Resident Evil 2 a little bit since I bought the remake of that, and it's pretty good so far, and a little bit of Last of Us. But
yeah, I'm trying to get through a lot of stuff with MLB The Show, but the hard part is that it's like there's almost too much to do.
I feel like it's just overwhelming. Like with the Team Affinity stuff, like you get that for like a month, about a month or so, and then you get something completely different.
Then you end up with a whole bunch of people trying to take care of their FOMO. And then it's really like your best bet's just kind of like, don't even worry about the FOMO. My problem is that there's too much to do in the game, and I don't have enough time to go and try and do it all because I'm also trying to focus on 5 other things that I'm doing.
Yeah, I also just don't want to burn myself out on MLB The Show. Like I like to do the weekly, like the Tops Now stuff and the monthly awards. I feel like that's the most worth it to me. And then whenever they do the All-Star Game Challenge stuff, whenever you get a chance to get like all the All-Star selected pitchers and stuff, because that was my fun part. Whenever we would do our annual like challenge, was getting those star players to like see how beefed up your team can get. But yeah,
I got a lot of the World Baseball Classic stuff done, but then I didn't get heavily invested in the Mexico City stuff, but
neither did I.
I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to get Kaiju's done. I'm trying to get monthly awards done.
I just didn't care about the Kaiju, because like after the Charisma series thing, I was kind of just over it, because like Luis Castillo pitcher card you get is kind of like lackluster for the Charisma series, at least for me. Maybe I just suck at pitching with Luis Castillo. Other than that, yeah, like it's a whole trip. of things. But
But my next thing, my next game that I'll be doing as soon as I finish Jedi Survivor is that I will be going straight into Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And doing that as part of a major investment into the Two Nerds in a Pod Game of the Year. Shout out Lam. Shout out Lam and Mac, our boys. Because I gotta play the bangers. I gotta play the bangers at least, and I actually messed around with the Street Fighter 6 open beta and was surprisingly impressed.
yeah, I heard about that. There was a guy I follow on YouTube for Steam Deck stuff, and he was talking about how it performed decent on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it actually did pretty well. Like, it was actually even pretty well on console too.
Mm.
But now that we've kind of gotten through a lot of that, let's get right into what we do.
All right. Starting lineup.
Yep, to the starting lineup.
All right, you want me to start it off, and then
we can go ahead and kind of start off with a couple of notable stories.
okay. Jim Brown passed away recently. I believe it was late this weekend, right? Or was it early last week?
I think it was this past weekend.
Yeah, he passed away at the age of 87. He was known to be a running back for the Cleveland Browns, correct? I didn't know much about Jim Brown, but I knew that this was recent and this was a very
yes, and he is typically known for being one of the greatest running backs of all time. A lot of people will mention him as in their greatest running backs of all time conversation.
Would he be next to Walter Payton?
Walter Payton is in people's conversation. Emmitt Smith is in people's conversation, and Barry Sanders. But Jim Brown, for a lot of people, because he's probably one of the very few that would have a running style that would make it into the modern game.
Yeah. Also, Carmelo Anthony, number 7, that was from the College of Syracuse, that went and got drafted by the Denver Nuggets, who are currently in the Western Conference Finals.
He did not wear number 7 in Denver.
Okay. What did he wear?
He wore 15 in Denver.
Okay, there you go. Sorry.
He changed it. He changed it to 7 when he eventually went out to New York.
Melo, yep, he retires after 19 seasons in the NBA. I think the last destination was with the Lakers, right?
Yeah, I think he ended off with the Lakers when they didn't even get a ring. But
wait, wasn't after that he played for the Trailblazers, or was the Trailblazers and then the Lakers?
Hang on here. Carmelo Anthony. Double checking this here, just to make sure we're something. Because he's retiring at 38, which is definitely a long career. Spent 1 year in Syracuse. And, of course, that 1 year he wins a national championship.
Nope, he played for the Lakers last. He played 2 years in Portland and then played with the Lakers.
Yep, it was the Nuggets, Knicks, Thunder, Rockets, Blazers, Lakers. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so he's been out of the league for a year.
All right. Do you want to do the NBA playoffs?
Well, now that we've kind of gotten into an NBA mode and talking about Melo retiring, we're going to go straight into the NBA playoff recaps. And both of these series have currently not been close. As a team has started to run away with the series. The Miami Heat are currently up 3-0 on the Celtics, as Jimmy Butler led the way in Game 1. In Game 2, Butler, Adebayo, and Caleb Martin combined for 74 of the 111. And then the Heat blow out the Celtics as they take a 128-102 victory led by Gabe Vincent's 29. So, where I'm going with this, the Heat have been one of the most notorious teams for getting a whole lot for people that they're not paying a lot, or people that they don't have as much financial value coming into the team.
Also, you could say they're kind of like hidden talents too, in a sense.
Yeah, they have mined their way into finding some very good diamonds in the rough. I mean, how else would they have landed on a guy like Duncan Robinson?
Would you say Bam Adebayo is in that same equation?
I'm just double checking to see if Adebayo was even drafted.
And I believe Adonis Haslam is on the bench.
Udonis
still.
Haslam has been there for years.
Yeah, he's like an ancient relic at this point. Like, man, he plays.
Bam Adebayo was a mid-round draft pick. Was a lottery pick. Went to Kentucky. But some of those notable ones, Duncan Robinson was definitely not a drafted player. Haywood Highsmith from Division II Wheeling Jesuit University. Caleb Martin was one that was not. Yeah, so they're just finding these hidden gems that work very well with their system.
You could say uncut gems.
Kind of. But now that even though the Lakers are currently leading Game 4, the series, the Lakers may be winning the battle, but the Nuggets are currently winning the war. The Lakers are up 73-58 in Game 4 at halftime.
Yes, sir.
However, the previous 3 games have gone the Nuggets' way. Game 1, Nikola Jokic put up a 34-21-14 triple-double to propel the Nuggets to a 132-126 victory. Alright. Game 2 was set up by Jamal Murray, putting up 23 in the fourth quarter to give Denver a 5-point victory. And then Game 3, the Nuggets steal Game 3 with Murray and Jokic combining for 61 points, just in spite of blowing a lead in the third quarter to the Lakers.
Which wasn't that big of a thing in general.
Yeah.
Because they ended up stomping them anyways by 11 points late in the game.
Yep, currently in Game 4 at halftime, Jamal Murray has 15, Jokic has 10.
LeBron has 20 something, I think.
LeBron has 31.
Oh crap!
With Rui Hachimura having 10. Austin Reeves also has 8. So looks like the Lakers have adjusted with putting in Rui Hachimura over Jared Vanderbilt.
Also, they started Schroeder over D'Angelo Russell.
They've been starting Schroeder for very much of the series.
Because they made it sound like this is like his first time being on the bench since he got over to back to the Lakers. But
yeah, it doesn't look like the Lakers have played. Neither team has really played very deep into their roster yet.
Yeah,
which is a little bit shocking, but Denver's got 3 opportunities to close out, and Game 5, the series does go back to Denver.
Yep. We'll see what happens. They did have a rehearsal today in case the Nuggets did win in Game 4, and LeBron was there shooting baskets behind them. So I don't know how awkward that would have been, but I think he used that as motivation. We'll see.
Yeah.
Are we ready for our next playoff talk.
Yeah, in the NHL. Yep.
I got this. All right.
Hey, start with the West. Start with the West because I think the East kind of segues into our next segment.
All right. So I will go with. So you want me to start with the Knights and Stars?
Start with Vegas and Dallas. Yep.
All right. All right. So for the Stars and Golden Knights, I believe the Golden Knights are up 2-0 on the Dallas Stars. I don't know if they played today or I know they played 2 games, but
Yeah,
the play
it's Vegas up. Vegas is up 2-0, and they won 3-2 in overtime last night.
And from what I saw, the players to watch for the Dallas, well, really one of the players to watch for the Dallas Stars is Roop Hintz, and this is data from Game 1. I have him scoring 1 goal and having 2 assists. And then a player for the Golden Knights, the Vegas Golden Knights that is, William Karlsson of the Knights scored 2 goals in the first game. As far as other stats go, give me 1 second. In game 2, it was the Golden Knights winning 3-2 in a overtime matchup or overtime showdown, you could say, and that goal was scored by Chandler Stevenson, and yeah, they're in all honesty, I think the Golden Knights probably have the edge over the Stars. The Knights, even I don't know, that series to me is kind of okay, but the one I'm really looking forward to seeing who gets it the most is the Panthers versus the Hurricanes.
This has shown throughout the entire series that this is a battle-tested, knockdown, drag-out Stanley Cup Finals type of series.
And dude, it lives up to the hype too. Like the Panthers and Hurricanes. Like for the Panthers, you got your Sark Early and Sergei Brovsky, and whenever I watched the highlights, I kept on getting a bunch of skis added to them, and it reminded me of that scene in Ted, when they're like playing the ski game and they're all having like a bottle of beer, and the whole ski thing just like kind of threw me into a loop. But other players to watch include Matthew Tkachuk of the, I probably butchered his name, I apologize. Matthew Tkachuk of the Florida Panthers had 2 game-winning goals in both Game 1 and 2 for the Florida Panthers. And then Alexander Barkov of the Panthers had 1 goal and 1 assist. And then for the Carolina Hurricanes, you have Seth Jarvis with 1 goal and assist, and Jalen Chatfield with 1 goal. And that's what I had for Game 1 as far as the Hurricanes go. The score for the... Oh, they're currently playing the Game 3.
And it's currently 1-0 Florida at the end of the second period.
For Game 2, it was...
It was Tkachuk again with the game winner.
Yep, and then Barkov also hit a goal as well for the Panthers. All right.
And then Chatfield scored the goal for the Hurricanes.
But yeah, in my honest opinion, I could care less about the Golden Knights or the Stars and Golden Knights game. I hope that the Golden Knights move on and face whoever comes out of this Panthers Hurricanes series. But I feel like
this would also be the Vegas Golden Knights' second Stanley Cup Finals in 6 years. They made it their very first year, and they fell to the Washington Capitals. So if the Vegas Golden Knights get in, that's exactly what happens. Is that this is their second Stanley Cup in 6 years since they've become an expansion team.
And that was the NHL playoff summary for the past 2 games for both
All
squads.
right. And now we go right into our Eastwood segment of the good, the bad, and the ugly of the week.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And our good kind of runs about twofold, as we talked about the obvious fireworks that have been going on between the Florida Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes. Is that's been that drag out Stanley Cup final series, but really, I think the good has been the city of Miami, as they've kind of sidetracked themselves away from having to be stuck with the torture of Marlins season, and still having basketball and hockey to go to while the Dolphins are not playing.
Yes, sir. The bad for sports this week, I put the Slam Diego Padres beating themselves, as we'll talk about it a little bit more later on in the episode, but the Slam Diego Padres are just kicking themselves in the foot, kind of like how the Chiefs did in their first 4 weeks of the season in 2021, and a lot of Chiefs fans don't want to relive that horror film, as the Slam Diego Padres are kind of currently doing that to
Well,
themselves.
the Padres are kind of stuck in a position where really Rome wasn't built in a day, and the Diamondbacks have been surging lately.
Dude, the Diamondbacks and then the Pirates came out of frickin' nowhere at the beginning of the season, and then, yeah, like you said, the Diamondbacks are doing well. They have Carroll and company, and even Kyle. I don't know if Kyle Lewis is still active on their roster or if he's more of a bench guy, but like Lourdes Gurriel Jr. on my fantasy thing has been like blowing up on fantasy as of recently too.
I mean, you still have Ketel Marte there too.
Yep. Not the speed, but the bat is good.
Yeah.
And then for the downright ugly this week, this is not a new rule that has been enforced in the league, but it is just one that has been there for a while, as Spennis even told me myself, because it felt like it's a rarity. But here is the ugly. It is Alek Manoah being forced to leave the game after the Blue Jays used their second mound visit of the inning. He had pitched 85 pitches in a 2-2 ball game, which, to be honest, that's probably pretty rare for that to happen. But also, I'm kind of disappointed in Manoah in a sense, because I've had him on my fantasy team for like a month now, and he still hasn't like recovered from this hangover that is the pitch clock.
I mean,
But yeah,
the pitch clock is being something that you have to adapt to.
yep.
And honestly, I think that the ugly has also been the stuff involving Kenley Jansen and Wilson Contreras. With that as batters are now trying to find ways to develop leverage on the pitch clock and draw penalties for quick pitching.
Or call
As-
timeouts like Jock Peterson did. I'm not living that down.
Oh, with Wilson Contreras, it was that Kenley Jansen, Contreras is facing him, but Contreras is forced it to the point that he's got 1 foot out of the box. 1 foot out of the box to kind of prevent Kenley Jansen from pitching.
That's why I said they should make it to where they, well, I don't even remember if I said that they should like penalize the batters more rather than the pitchers, but
Or go with the banana ball rule. You can't leave the box. You can't leave the box. If you step out, it's a strike.
that sounds like a good thing, because honestly,
Have you,
it's kind of annoying seeing them like adjusting their gloves every freaking pitch. Like,
you can adjust your gloves in the box. It's
yeah,
just
but do you ever see that often whenever before the pitch clock and all that. Usually you saw those guys go like a couple feet out of the batter's box to adjust gloves or add rosin or comb their hair or hawk a loogie onto their glasses or onto their batting gloves. Like, come on now.
Yeah, they're trying to disrupt timings. And here we go. We now enter the high heat.
And this one is definitely a high heat, as I'll name off the names for. I don't know if this is just going to be an annual DFA kind of thing, but this isn't just designated for assignment players. This is also some players that have some injury trouble currently. So, I'll start off with our DFAs. First, we have Brett Phillips, Spence's favorite player when it comes to charisma.
Well, when you had, he definitely is one of the most charismatic players in the league and a definite clubhouse guy.
And he was DFA'd by the Los Angeles Angels. And then your boy, the 2015 World Series champion with the Kansas City Royals, first baseman Eric Hosmer, was designated for assignment earlier this weekend with the Cubs, as Miles Mercer, it was his last name was Mercer, rookie for the Cubs, is taking it over for him. And then a New York Yankees favorite, Aaron Hicks, mostly playing.
I don't know if you would necessarily say Yankees favorite or just a Yankees player who was kind of just there.
Better than a player that I'm about to mention here soon. But yeah, Aaron Hicks. I think he even signed a contract like last year that was like an extension, or maybe it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then
you were going with Hunter Dozier, right?
Yep, and for the love of God, it finally happened. My prayers have been answered. Hunter Dozier is gone. You know it's bad when you have limited roster spots or space just in general, and you have all this rookie talent, and then Hunter Dozier hasn't had a good season since 2019. It's been 4 god-awful years. We had god-awful years from Alex Gordon, but he was still a good defensive help, and for the most part got us a game-tying homer during the World Series. But Dozier is like kind of like a look-alike of Gordon in a sense, but at least Gordon did his part and was a Royals legend for the most part. But Dozier, thank God he's gone. I'm happy, but also thank you for what you've done. And I hope you and your family are great and doing just fine. But
how much you want to venture that was brought upon because of Bobby?
Well, even before Bobby even got in, he was playing like third base or first base, because that's when they had Carlos Santana playing, or with that 2-year deal. And then once they got Vinny Pasquantino in, that's when they traded Santana to the Mariners. So I think it was more of a case of they wanted to get more playing time for Nicky Lopez and the new rookie Michael Garcia, which has been fairly decent as of late. And with a healthy Nicky Lopez, you have something cooking here soon if they can all work together. Because Nicky Lopez during the World Baseball Classic was a freaking menace. And then yeah, I won't forget about you, Spennis. But yeah, like straight up, Nicky Lopez, Bobby Witt Jr., Michael Garcia, Michael Massey. That is a force to be reckoned with.
Talent coming in, so Hunter for the Royals had to go.
Yep. And as far as injuries go now, we'll go to those. As Julio Urias is probably going to be out a month with a hamstring injury. He is a starting pitcher, World Series champion with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then
And
Manny
he's usually
Machado.
one of their pretty good ones too.
Oh yeah, he's
that
not
one-
a slouch. And then Manny Machado with a hand injury with the Slam Diego Padres, as that's kind of a little bit of a blow. I mean, they still have Haesung Kim and a
Still
few
got
others.
Cronenworth. You still
Yeah.
got Cronenworth. Yeah, you still got Cronenworth. You still got Bogarts.
Yep.
So I mean, it disrupts a little bit of the rotation for them needing bye week or bye game days off, but means
Yeah.
that Cronenworth's gonna have a little bit of a longer stretch. Luke Voigt will have to play some games at first. Wait, no, Voigt no longer a Padre?
He is a Milwaukee Brewer, I believe.
Oh, he's a Brewer now. Oh wow. So they probably will need to be more concerned about finding a first baseman if this injury for Machado is a little bit longer term.
Well, I mean, true. Yeah, you're not wrong. I was trying to think of who else they could put in there, but maybe Tatis or somebody, but I doubt that.
But I think they've even got like Tatis in the outfield. But Tatis could play some infield if he did.
Yep. Did you want to do the league leaders and whatnot?
Yes,
or...
I will do the league leader. I will do the league leader.
All right,
All
sounds
right.
good.
So for hitting, our batting stats at first. We have Luis Ariz leading the NL with a 382 average, and Yandy Diaz leading the AL with a 329. Pete Alonso leads the majors in home runs with 17. Adolis for the AL at 14, but also with 14 home runs, but also leads with 49 runs batted in. Pitching. Shane McClanahan picked up his 7th win, but Justin Steele, Zach Gallen, Joe Ryan, and Clayton Kershaw all have 6 wins, and Zach Gallen pretty much leads all these pitchers in kills as Gallen has killed a bird with a curveball.
Don't tell me he heard from across the way in Glendale that that Call of Duty is the way to go, like Kyler did.
Not exactly.
All right, so he's not in the gulag like Kyler.
But baseball has had a weird history. And this weird history for the Diamondbacks has involved, unfortunately, as morbid as this sounds, birds dying on the ball field.
Don't let PETA hear about this.
Yeah, unfortunately.
More like fortunate, am I right, Gallen and Randy Johnson?
So, 22 years ago, Randy Johnson, during spring training, had the infamous fastball that killed a pigeon. But the weird omen of this is, you know what happened about 7 months later? The Diamondbacks stunned the Yankees to win the World Series. Could this be a sign, especially with the Diamondbacks currently being second in the NL West, that this may have an odd omen that could propel Arizona into the World Series again?
Do you think it's against the Yankees?
I don't think it'll be against the Yankees if it is this time around. But I think that this definitely is an interesting sign for the Arizona Diamondbacks, as baseball has been known to have a weird history, including Freudian slips that have led to World Series victories for teams. Cough, cough, Bryce Harper, cough, cough.
Way to
Yes.
rub salt into the wound, a little gunpowder, you know? Like Sylvester Stallone and Rambo just like carving.
Yeah, Yeah, and Bryce Harper saying that he wanted to bring a World Series to DC.
He DC'd
While he
from
was
the call or DC'd from the organization.
Oh, and this was after he did that. It was in a Philadelphia Phillies interview that he had the Freudian slip.
Yep, he definitely DC'd from the group chat. He was like, bye, Felicia.
Oh yeah, and of course, after that Freudian slip, about 8 months later, the Nationals come away with a World Series title.
Aww.
All right. But now that we get that out of the way, Sonny Gray leads the majors with a 1.64 ERA. Alex Cobb leads the NL with a 1.94. Spencer Strider leads the MLB with 86 strikeouts. Kevin Gossman, who also has the most quality starts in the AL, leads the AL, and also in the majors, leads the AL with 81 Ks. Emmanuel Clase leads the majors with 16 saves, while Camilo Doval leads the NL with 12. And now we go right to some other things that are impressing us. And it's got to be my own division, the AL Beast of the East.
Boo, 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 boo.
It, like, why would you be booing that when you've got
the AL Beast? That's the best you could come up with.
like they're all like playing like champs. Like they're playing like they want to be there in the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Like it's the best of it. Like I'm sorry, the AL East right now is still the best division in baseball.
I mean, it is a pretty good division. But yeah, I agree with that. I just thought calling it the AL Beast was a little. I feel like there could have been a little bit of flavor added to that ramen packet.
I mean, it could be the AL Feast because
There
they're
you
kind of
go.
just eating
See,
right now.
I mean, you could have started with that because the Feast sounds better and it makes sense. The AL Beast is just like, okay, who's the beast in this uh division when there's like a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're having a feast, all right. And I'll take over this one as the AL East is becoming more and more competitive as even the last place team is above 500. And in the stats I have here, according to a source that I looked up earlier today, the Orioles are 7-3 in their last 10 games. The Red Sox are breaking even at 5-5, and then the Yankees are 8-2 in their last 10 games, and the Blue Jays are 4-6 in their last 10 games.
Hold
As
up,
far
Ruckus.
Go for it.
Breaking score update. It is now a 1-point game between the Nuggets and Lakers with about just over 4.5 to go in a third.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just wanted to kind of like say like, oh, breaking update. This
No, you're good.
this
You're good.
game may not be over.
Well, I kind of had a feeling it was gonna be like that because let's be honest, the game yesterday, the Lakers had the early lead, and then they ended up getting screwed up, I guess. So let's shift gears back. So after the last 10 game stats, we have more last 10 game stats. So the hot hitters as far as the last 10 games, Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees is batting. His batting average is .378, going off with 7 homers in the last 10 games and 45 at bats. This also is significant because this is him after coming off of I believe a oblique.
Yeah, he had 62. He had 62 last year.
But like also he came off of like some type of hamstring injury, I think, right? Or was it?
I think there might have been like a mild injury in there somewhere.
But anyways, he was out for a little bit. Now he's back and he's knocking out dingers, like Big Al. And then Rafael Devers, for your Boston Red Sox, is batting .286 with 3 homers in his last 10 games with 20 hits in the last 70 at bats. Not bad. And then we're gonna go into the not so great with the struggling teams. The Padres' offense, like we were talking about, is not clicking at all, really, for the most part. Juan Soto's heating up for them, which is good. At the beginning of the season, he wasn't so great, and he wasn't even that great during near the end of the second half of the season last year either. When he got as soon as he got traded from the Nationals to the Slam Diego Padres, he was not producing much at all, and after a month with into the new season with the Padres, he's doing better. I wouldn't say he's improved a whole lot, but he's definitely doing better.
Well, the Padres also conclude the month of May with a 9-game. Well, the schedule does ease up a little bit for the Padres. It's still got some good competitive teams near the backstretch of a 9-game road trip. They have 3 games with the Nationals starting tomorrow through Thursday. Then they go to Yankee Stadium Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Have an off day on Monday, and then go to Miami for a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday series to then start off the month of June before heading home. So they'll be in the midst of a 9-game road trip, or that they're starting out on a 9-game road trip.
Yep. And then our next struggling team is the Fightin' Phils, as for the most part, they're also kind of not clicking as much. Kyle Schwarber is definitely the big factor to that. Excuse me, I sneezed. He's a big factor because he has been mainly striking out a lot, and the reason I know this is because he's on my fantasy team and he's really dragging down my average. But at the same time, he hits dingers, not like Big Al, but you know,
he's
he's
a boomer bust option, which was why I think the Cubs let him go, the Nationals let him go, the Red Sox didn't re-sign him. But he's leading the team with 12 dingers.
Yep, and then
Nick Castellanos with a 295. I mean, we basically at this point right now, I think for the main thing with the Phillies is that we need to put out an APB for Trey Turner.
Yeah, Trey Turner.
That I think has been the biggest thing and has not necessarily panned out.
Yeah, that one is a big oof to the salary cap, or not really salary cap, more just the GM and whatnot. As far as the Mets offense, that has been kind of about the same turn of events as kind of like what the Padres did, where you had the talent, it's just not a whole lot is being done. Like, Nimmo is probably one of your better players besides Alonso. Alonso's hitting dingers, but he was on a cold spell. You had Francisco Lindor, who was kind of on a cold spell. Then he had Starling Marte, which is doing decent. You got Canna, who's been kind of not great on his second year with the Mets. And then
I don't know why you have the Mets struggling, because they've won their last 5. Actually, wait, no, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they've won their last 5.
Well, last week they were not doing that great, and the week before that they were not doing that great, but they're slowly coming back, is why I put them there. But and then as far as other struggling teams, I don't know if we would really say Pirates are struggling, but they've definitely cooled down a little bit. They haven't been talked about much, and usually if you're still lava hot this long in, people start to raise more eyebrows than they did before. But
Well,
that's just my
I will say
speculation.
this: I don't think you completely count the Pirates out as like cooling down, but the Diamondbacks did beat them in a series, and they did just beat Texas today.
You talking the
So that
Diamondbacks?
no, the Pirates, but the Diamondbacks are a team that is surging right now, and the Diamondbacks just beat the Phillies, and after a loss to the Pirates, they've basically won from their last 7. They've won 5 out of their last 7.
Yeah. Maybe I should say that the news cooled down a little bit on them because I haven't heard a lot about them
Yeah.
or anyways, are we
Yeah, the
ready
Jolly
for
Roger is still being raised more oftentimes than not, and the Brewers are only a half a game in front of them. So it's
So,
not like
who's really
you're.
walking the plank?
Oh wait, the Pirates just tied it up. They just tied it up in the standings, and I think that might be due to the Brewers losing. Oh, the Brewers got smoked. Brewers got smoked by the Astros. And the Nuggets now have a 7-point lead. Which completely unrelated, but well, we've got that going somewhere.
Yep, I have it. I have the feed on. Shout out YouTube TV. Please sponsor us. All right. Are we ready for the color commentary?
Yep. We can definitely do that.
All right. So for our color commentary this week, we had I called it rumors from the leagues because I have some semi juicy deets as far as rumors go for the NFL mostly, and then there was a little tiny rumor in the NBA with the Milwaukee Bucks stars. And that rumor is that it was possible that the Milwaukee Bucks stars Brooke Lopez and Chris Middleton would be staying with the team. I don't know about Giannis, but that's as far as I know with the Milwaukee Bucks stuff. So
Yeah,
now,
I think that them staying in Milwaukee is a good thing, especially with Giannis being there a little more long term. So that can kind of give whoever comes in as the coach a core. But I also feel like it could also give them challenges too, especially if the players don't want to adjust to the new coach's style.
yeah. And then here's the nitty gritty of the NFL rumors. The first one on the agenda is Dalvin Cook. Is he being cut, or is he going to be traded, or is he going to stay with the Minnesota Vikings? A source from SportsCenter's Jeremy Fowler noted that Cook loves the Vikings, but would be open to a fresh start if they decide to move on. And I have seen many videos from either Chat Sports and other news people talking about him potentially being cut and or traded to the Chiefs and taking a pay cut to win a ring with the defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. But there's probably other outlets
I
saying
I
somewhere else.
I I think he stays. I think he stays because Minnesota does not have another running back to go to. Dalvin Cook has had a little bit of an injury history, yes. Dalvin Cook would be able to produce somewhere else, yes. But do I think Dalvin Cook could be afforded to be let go? Not really. I mean, if you're trying to save a little bit of money, I wouldn't necessarily go after your number one running back at that point.
Yep. And then as far as
Because if we want to double check the roster for the, because I'm going to double check the roster for the Vikings here because
Former Viking Jerick McKinnon was at one point on the Vikings. That must have been way earlier in his career, though.
I mean, the biggest thing is that Dalvin Cook is also 27. So he's on a little bit of the downside of his career. And Alexander Madison is the backup. And they just got Dwayne McBride, who was an undrafted... Or no, was a 7th round pick. So they've drafted another running back to kind of go in, but I would say not this year for Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I don't know, fam. I like the idea, but at the same time, we've already got Pacheco and McKinnon and a few other faces in there still. We still have CEH, so we'll talk about him here in a second.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's going to Kansas City I don't think he's going to Kansas City. He's either going to stay in Minnesota for at least one more year or he will be traded at some point. I don't think he'll get cut. Because I think too many teams will want to pounce and try and sign him.
Yeah.
And
all right.
none of them are named Kansas City.
Yeah. We'll let that one cook a little bit. The next one on the agenda are the Tampa Bay Bucks accelerating a rebuilding, or just keeping 2 star wide receivers? So this rumor I found was another one of those situations where it's, could this potentially happen? And those 2 wide receivers in question are Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Though it would be beneficial for both of those guys to be traded and get either draft picks or other players compensating to the Bucks, I think that it is very unlikely that the Chiefs get either of those guys because of the cost for both of them. Evans' cost...
Are you just looking at this exclusively out of Chiefs rumors?
No, not necessarily. I'm saying that there's possible rumors that, in general, for like the league, not just the Chiefs. I don't know who would actually benefit from having a about 30-year-old player in Mike Evans. And also, go ahead.
If you're wanting to trust in Baker Mayfield as your quarterback, wouldn't you want to have him have a viable pass target to throw the ball to?
Yes, you would, but you'd also want some healthy people as well.
With Mike Evans, if you really look at the career stats on him, he has 10,000 receiving yards. And as far as you go year to year, he has had over 1,000 yards in every single year of his career. I don't see Tampa Bay letting go of him that easily.
I think it would be a big asking price, especially for the money, because Evans' cost, according to Sport Track, Evans is sitting on a $21 million dead cap. And then
Godwin just signed.
Yeah, it was like a 4-year deal.
Yeah, Godwin just signed.
And I don't see that happening.
I mean, do I think Mike Evans is currently on a contract year? Absolutely. I think Evans is on a contract year, so he might have a higher likelihood of being dealt. But
it's not going to be with the Chiefs.
It's not going to be with the Chiefs. I think it's going to go to a team that'll probably need it a lot more. I don't even think it'll go to the Commanders because we already have a number 1.
Also, Terry McLaurin was a buttload of money too.
Well, Terry McLaurin just got extended
Yeah.
and was paid like a number one receiver, as he should.
So for the next uh thing of business, this is actually a Chiefs one. Better
Now,
yet. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I mean, I was saying like you were picking up a lot of your stuff from like, oh, the Chiefs are speculating this, Chiefs are speculating that. No, this one actually is a Chiefs one.
So this has been kind of circulating even before the draft. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, do we think he gets traded, cut from the 53-man roster?
Cut.
And here's what I think. If the price is right, a team will probably snag him if they see that we don't want him, and we'll probably trade him. But I don't think we cut him. I
For
think
nowhere near.
here's
If you trade for him, it will be for nowhere near as valued of an asset as you got him for.
right, because he was a first round pick, 22 or 21 overall, and he has not lived up to it. But at the same time, he wasn't a red zone threat.
I mean,
Um,
here's where you have with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going to end up becoming trade if you trade him away. He's only going to really have a value of about a fifth, somewhere not even like a second day pick. He's going to be a third day pick, pretty much I think about a sixth or a seventh that you use for something kind of irrelevant.
yeah. I mean, that would also help us as far as the future. But yeah, I feel like he's gonna be used kind of like Ronald Jones, it was last year. But we will just have to see what happens, because you never know in a season what's going to happen. You could have Pacheco go out for the year. I still have that weird suspicion that Pacheco could go out for the year due to like a leg issue or something. Because I don't know.
Yeah, but it's almost like what's the cost equivalent and
Yeah, because Edwards-Hilaire's option was fifth-year option was not upheld. They did not extend Edwards-Helaire.
this is year 4 on him.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, so this would be a contract year for him. So
And then as far as Frank Clark leaving earlier or around free agency, there's also rumors speculating that he would possibly return if I think the only way we sign him is if we cut or release a few defensive ends like Mike Dana or maybe someone else. But I don't know what his pay or his contract would look like later on.
yeah, it's just a matter of like what type of contract are the Chiefs willing to pony up, or really more so for any other team. But
Yeah. And then last but not least, the Chase Young trade rumors. There was rumors that he was possibly going to be dealt to the Lions, but I didn't know if you had any insight on that.
I've seen no insight on any of the Chase Young stuff. I mean, if we cut bait with him now, I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world because we still could probably get maybe a third or a fourth for him. But the injuries are a concern.
Because didn't he have like suffer like a knee injury, or was it a
Yeah,
full
it was.
ACL?
I think it was an ACL.
Got that Jack Harlow injury.
Fortunately, it was just one of them.
Yep. But yeah, that's all I had for that.
Yep. And now we go to the primetime game. Previously on what we did a jersey climb, but this week we have one called Who's Missing? Ruckus and I come up with lists of things and something missing along with a clue. The goal is to figure out who's missing. An example of this, the Colts offense. This is major contributors to the Colts offense of the 2000s. included Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, and this quarterback who went to Tennessee.
Peyton Manning.
Yep. So now we have about 3 of them on our own, and all of mine have categories to them.
All right.
All right. So, do you want Chiefs Hall of Famers, legacy MLB players, or 2001 MLB All-Stars?
Let's start with 2001 MLB All-Stars.
Okay. This one you are looking for 2. The National League All-Star roster of 2001 featured the likes of Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling on the mound, but hitting the ball featured these 2 sluggers who throughout their careers combined for over 1,400 home runs, with one of them setting the single-season home run record that season in 2001. Who are the 2 that you're missing?
Bonds and Mark McGwire.
Nope. You're on the right team, though. You're on the right team that McGwire would have been around for.
Like Canseco?
Nope. It was none of the Bash brothers.
But was I right with Barry Bonds or no?
Yeah, Barry Bonds is right.
Sammy Sosa?
Nope.
Dang. All right. Who was the second?
2001 was this player's rookie year, where he started out as a third baseman. It was Albert Pujols.
I wasn't.
Yep.
I thought Pujols was a lot later, or not later, a lot early. Or I guess I should say later.
Pujols'
Like
rookie season was before 2000, or either before.
I thought it was like
after 2001.
I thought it was like 2002 or 3.
Yeah, Pujols was a rookie in 2001.
Interesting.
Yep. All right. So, what's one of yours there, Ruckus? Did yours have specific categories?
I pretty much went with the rostered guys. So this is all baseball for me.
Okay.
So I have the. Which one do you want first? Do you want me to just pick one for you?
Well, what are your 3 themes?
2001 Arizona Diamondbacks, 2000s New York Mets, and the 2000s New York Yankees.
Start with the Yankees.
All right. So for the offensive lineups, I'll do 3 players and then you guess the 4th one.
Okay.
All right. So we have Clay Bellinger, Derek Jeter, Alfonso Soriano. Who's missing?
So you're saying, was this the entire infield?
Yeah. So you just need to look for one more player that's potentially missing. I named 3 off: Clay Bellinger, Derek Jeter, and
Now, Alfonso Soriano was playing second base. Derek Jeter was the shortstop, and then Bellinger would have been the third baseman. I'm almost looking for who played first. Jason Giambi?
Yep.
Yeah, because I was like, wait. The biggest thing that I was
Well, you
having to
could have
figure
also
out-
said Jorge Posada because it's technically infield.
Well, actually, I think catchers are actually technically part of the battery, which is with the pitchers, but I think, yeah, I mean, Jorge Posada would have been on the spot too, but I was like, wait, I'm like, if you're talking like the true definition of the infield, got to be looking at who played first. Which I was like, and I was more so trying to figure out, I was like, wait, was that trade for Jason Giambi in 2000 or in 2001? I was like, was Giambi part of the 2000 Yankees? Was kind of the part I was speculating there.
Yeah. All right. What do I
All
have
right.
left?
Chiefs Hall of Famers and legacy MLB players.
Legacy MLB players.
Okay, so many MLB players have had their sons play in the show. Names of the players who have had their sons in the majors currently include Dante Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero, Charlie Hayes, and Craig Biggio. Although Fernando Tatis also is the case. But this Hall of Fame Padres son did not have the same type of career his father did playing. But the Hall of Fame Padres son played from 2005 to 2014.
Who is Tony Gwynn Jr.?
Well, it would be Tony Gwynn Jr. was the son, so yes, it would have been Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn, you got it.
Yep. All right. Which one do you want next? I have 2001 Diamondbacks and 2000 Mets.
2000 Mets.
All right. So we have. So this is just general players now. So I'll name off 3. So I have Vance Wilson, Ricky Henderson, and Mike Piazza. Who
John
else?
Olerud a part of that team?
I could look that up.
John Olerud. Because John Olerud, I think, would have played.
He was
first.
on the Mariners.
Was he on the Mariners at the time?
Yeah, this is 2000 Mets. He
Yeah,
played for the Mets till 99.
Olerud was. I forgot Olerud had jumped ship at that point.
Do you want to guess again, or are you stumped?
I think I'm still trying to roll. Still trying to roll through it here. Because Piazza would have been the easy one.
Yeah.
Edgardo Alfonso?
Here.
Edgardo.
Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so one of the ones I filled in for that was Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes is in the father.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And if Randy ever heard you say that, she would call you out on it on Twitter.
What?
The Patrick and Pat Mahomes thing, like they said with the announcers that one time or a couple times. Randy Mahomes is his mother.
Yeah. That's why I said the father.
The Faja.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. So, Chiefs Hall of Famers. Players like Joe Montana, Len Dawson, and Willie Rowe while donning the Chiefs uniform at some point in their career. But this linebacker, who passed away much too soon, was selected to Canton in 2009.
Damn it. Um. Honestly, you said he was a linebacker, right?
Yep.
Was he in like the 2011 or like 2010s era?
No.
Okay.
This would have been a '90s Chief, but he was inducted into the Hall of Fame as a career Chief.
For some reason, it's blanking me right now. Who is it?
It was Derek Thomas.
Oh, I should have known
Yep.
that.
Yep. It was unfortunate that because it involved his Suburban had went off the interstate in Clay County as he and two passengers were driving to Kansas City International Airport during a snowstorm flight to St. Louis to watch the NFC Championship game between the Rams and the Bucks. Yeah, so he died in a car accident. Well, basically, ultimately went to cardiac arrest or cardiorespiratory arrest, but as a result of a car accident.
All right, you want the last one?
Yep.
All right, here's your Arizona Diamondbacks one. 2001 Arizona D-backs. All right, so here we go. Here's your three that I'll give you. Luis Gonzalez, Steve Finley, and Kurt Schilling.
We just talked about him killing a pigeon earlier. Randy Johnson.
That works. I also filled in David DeLucci, but that works too.
David DeLucci. I think Jay Bell was a part of that team at short or in the middle infield. There were a couple of notable names there. I think Mark Grace would have been one that would have worked as well. There were a couple of different things that worked. All right, so now we go to our stud and dud this week.
Yes, sir. I'll let you go off first.
Oh, do we really want mine to go first?
Can I get a hell yeah?
Oh my.
A na na na.
I don't know why you were wanting mine to go first. Funnier, but but my stud this week goes to the Orioles AA affiliate Bowie Bay Sox for having the Commanders owner change night on May 18th. Basically, what they did was that they gave a $10 discount to box seats for anyone in Commanders gear. There was a chance for anyone in Commanders gear to throw out the first pitch, and free admission to anyone with the last name of Harris or with any name type of Josh or Harris. And there was also a free going away cake. Basically, the Bowie Bay Sox showed a little bit of recognition to the Washington Commanders and trolled Dan Snyder in the most hilarious way possible.
I think it's a good way.
I mean, I saw the thing and just started dying, and it was one that right away had said dibs.
Yep. That's not powdered sugar.
I know that's not powdered sugar. I mean, but dibs were also ice cream. But there were a couple of other fun little things that I would have thrown. I mean, the Zach Gallen with the pigeon was, or with the bird was also something I mentioned earlier. Is something that was notably outlandish. So this was definitely an interesting week for things in sports. But my dud this week goes to golfer Tom Kim losing in the PGA Championship, losing a battle with the mud, and had to wash off in the water at the PGA Championship while searching for a golf ball. In short, mud 1, golf nothing, golfer 0. The mud is undefeated. All right, what you got, Ruckus?
All right, so my stud for this week goes to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for recognizing a young fan's sign saying that he beat cancer. And and I believe he said Bo Bichette was his favorite player. So Vladdy helped out the fan by giving him a Major League Baseball bat because of his milestone of beating cancer for a young fan. Congrats to the young fan. Also, I'm jealous because I would like a baseball bat at some point. Um, and then the dud for this week's episode is AJ Brown's phone after almost getting run over by a car at a stop sign. Now, uh, for the record, AJ Brown's not the dud, it's his phone. Because his phone, during I think it was like an Instagram live, fell over when he was trying to save himself from getting run over by the car in question that did not stop at a stop sign. That's why you never drive distracted or also just pay attention to the signs and keep your eyes on the road. But yeah, that's our studs and duds for episode 55.
Yep, and that will do it for us for episode number 55 of Ruckus and the Menace. We thank you for listening to this show, and we do enjoy doing this for you all. Deuces.
See you later.